smeared in ash, with dreadlocks, wearing nothing but marigold garlands. Their appearance and ritual makes them unique. Let's talk about the fascinating Naga sadhus. Naga sadhus mostly remain aloof from civilization and are very rarely seen in public. Kumbh Mela is said to be one of those rare events where common population gets a chance to see them. And they have always been a topic of intrigue and conversation. But what do we know about them? Their history, their origin, their battle with Aurangzeb. And wait, did you think that Naga sadhus were just males? Let's dive deeper to understand. Did you know that the origin of Naga sadhus can be traced back to ancient India? Evidence of their existence has been uncovered in forms of Mohenjo-daro coins and artwork depicting them praying to Lord Shiva's Pashupatinath avatar. It is said that when Shankaracharya established the 4 monasteries, he became increasingly concerned about their safety. To address this, he formed 7 groups of fearless, detached individuals who would protect the Sanatan Dharma. This group of warrior ascetics eventually came to be known as Naga sadhus. So the word Naga in Sanskrit means mountain. It means someone who either lives on or around mountain, often in complete isolation in pursuit of spiritual enlightenment. These ascetics don't just meditate and chant all day. They were armed. Naga sadhus carry swords, tridents, arrows and bows. Why? To protect temples and sacred sites. They were spiritual warriors. In fact, did you know that Naga sadhus fought against Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb in 17th century to defend the Kashi Vishwanath temple? According to James G. Lochtefeld in his book, The Illustrated Encyclopedia of Hinduism, Volume 1, he has mentioned the Battle of Janvapi that was fought in the year 1664 by the Naga ascetic warriors of the Mahanirvani Akhada, who were victorious against the forces of the Sultan. The Sultan here is believed to be Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. Local folklore also recounts Aurangzeb's second attack on Varanasi. It is believed that around 40,000 Naga sadhus sacrificed their lives defending the Kashi Vishwanath Jyotirlinga. The Naga sadhus follow a strict regimen of meditation, yoga, chanting, and they live without material possessions. One of the most unique attributes that help identify a Naga sadhu is that they do not wear any clothes, and remaining naked is a part of their identity. This is a symbol of their detachment from material, something that is extremely important and dear to humans in the material world. To protect themselves from cold, wind or heat, they smear bhasma all over their body, which is basically ash that is considered holy and pure. So did you think that Naga sadhus were just men? Well, here's something that probably you did not know. There are female Naga sadhus too, and they are just as dedicated to their spiritual journey. Just like the male counterparts, female Naga sadhus abandon all attachments to family and material wealth. They dedicate themselves completely to asceticism and spirituality. The initiation process for female Naga sadhus is just as intense for as men. They must show unwavering dedication to their gurus and undergo rigorous spiritual training before being accepted. Female ascetics must observe strict celibacy for 6 to 12 years before being initiated. They spend their times in caves, forests or mountains in total isolation, engaging in intense penance called sadhana. Unlike the males, female Naga sadhus wear an unstitched saffron cloth called ganti to cover their bodies, and they are known for dreadlocks and the tilak on their forehead. As part of their renunciation, they perform a traditional ritual called Pinddan, usually performed after someone's death. It symbolizes the end of their old lives and marks their rebirth as ascetics. From the ancient roots to the unique role in modern-day festivals, Naga sadhus continue to captivate the imagination. They embody a life of detachment, discipline, and dedication to spirituality. Whether male or female, their commitment to renunciation and their role in preserving sacred traditions make them an intriguing and revered part of India's spiritual heritage.